welcome to today's video. Those of you that are new to my channel, hi, my name is Maria, and before I get started on the Charlotte Tilbury face palettes, I just want to give a big thank you to all those that have subscribed to my channel already. I think as of today it's about 178 subscribers, somewhere around there. So I really appreciate you subscribing to me and taking some time out of your day to watch my videos. So I bought two of the new Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look of Love palettes. I got the one Pretty Blush Beauty and Glowing Beauty. So Pretty Blush Beauty is more of a subtle palette, and the Glowing Beauty palette gives a little bit more of a punch, possibly more for those, I mean it'd be fine for a day look, but possibly more if you want to smoke it up more for a nighttime look. So I'm going to start off with the Pretty Blush Beauty, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through this palette and apply that today. Then tomorrow I will apply the other palette, the Glowing Beauty one, but for that I will just film me putting on the palette and then I will edit it and speed it up just so you can see what the end result looks like on my face. But I will swatch both palettes and we'll start with that. So I'll take out the Pretty Blushed Beauty, and here is the outside of the palette with the iconic Charlotte Tilbury packaging on the front and the design, and it just has a love heart in the middle and the Charlotte Tilbury logo in the middle and a really lovely rose gold color. And inside, this is what the palette looks like. I have tried both of these palettes already and I really love both of them. So the palettes have 7 shades, and up the top is 3 shades for your eyes, although you could possibly use that as well on your cheek for a highlighter. They're supposed to, this one's to brighten, this eyeshadow one, this one's to enhance, and this one's to smoke. I mean, these are just all guidelines. You can really sort of do what you want. Then there is a face highlighter, possibly to put on the top of your cheekbone. It's her face powder, a bronzer, and also a cheek blush. So I'm going to swatch the 3 eyeshadows first, and then when it comes to the bronzer and the powder, I will swatch those as well, but I'll also compare them with the Charlotte Tilbury separate bronzer and powder that I've used for quite a while, and you'll see the difference in the shades. But we'll start off with the eyeshadows. So this one here is the Eye Brighten, and then the next one is the Eye Enhance, and this third one here is the Eye Smoke. And these 2 shades here, this one is the Face Highlighter, and this one they call the Cheek Pop, and this is the blush. So next I'll do the bronzer. The bronzer that I already had is the Airbrush bronzer, and this is in the shade 3 Tan. So I will swatch both on my hand so you can see the difference in the shades. So this is the bronzer that's in the palette, and it's described as a light medium. And this is the bronzer that I already owned, the one that's in number 3 Tan. So the bronzer that comes in this palette is quite a lot lighter, but my skin at the moment, especially with it being autumn going into winter here in New Zealand, is a lot lighter. So it does show quite well, and I will be demonstrating that in a minute. And the Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder that I already have is in the shade 2 Medium. This one in the palette is described as Fair Medium. They probably won't show it very well swatched on my hand. So I'm just going to put them up side by side. There's not much of a difference really. It is quite subtle. So this one is in the shade 2 Medium, and the one in the palette here is described as Fair Medium. And this is the Glowing Beauty palette. This one is really beautiful as well. The shades are quite a bit more deeper, if that's the sort of color story that you want. So I'm going to swatch these on my hand now as well, and like the other palette, I'll also compare it to the two products that I already had, the bronzer and the face powder. So this one here is the Eye Brighten, and it's described as a Rose Taupe Sparkle. And next is the Eye Enhance. It's a Bronze Gold Shimmer. And lastly is the Eye Smoke. It's described as a Warm Mauve Brown Matte. And this one is the Face Highlighter, and it's described as a golden shade. And this one is the blush that they call the Cheek Pop, and it is a Radiant Rosy Peach. So this is the bronzer in the palette, and it is a medium deep. And this is the bronzer that I already have in the shade 310. And these are the two face powders side by side. And the one in the palette is described as a medium deep, and the one I own is in medium. So the one that I'm going to put on now is the Pretty Blushed palette. I already have my foundation on and corrector and concealer. I have eyeshadow primer on, and I've also done my eyebrows. So we'll start off with the face powder. And taking the BK Beauty 108 brush, I'm going to just gently roll that into the face powder because I'm going to do under my eyes first. So I'll just tap off the excess like I always do with a powder. And I know that this will be fine under my eyes because since I already use this powder and the formula, I know it goes really well under my eyes and over my face as well. So I'm just going to take the Sonia G Face One brush and go back into the face powder and buff that in. So next I'm going to take my Rephr number 22 brush and go into the bronzer. As I said, I have used these palettes, and even though this bronzer is a lighter shade than I had, it still looks quite pretty on the skin and gives a really subtle sort of sun-kissed glow. I really like it. It's a really nice bronzer, really nice colour.
We got a brand new day, good love is on the way, and if you take my hand, I'll walk with you to Georgia. Have you ever been in love? Dove in from high above, and if the answer's no, well then I'd like to get...
So even though this bronzer is lighter than the other Charlotte Tilbury one I already had, I quite like it, especially this time of the year for autumn to winter. And my skin normally is light to medium. It's probably on the more of the lighter side at the moment, and that's why the shade is showing quite well. It also is buildable, so you can even go lighter with this if you like. So if you have fair to light skin, I think you would really love this shade. And just like the normal Charlotte Tilbury bronzer, the formula is really beautiful and blends out really, really easily. So now we'll get into the eyeshadows, and I'm going to take the Rephr number 15 brush, and I'm going to start off with the enhanced shade in the middle here. I don't think I described what sort of shade it's supposed to be. So the Eye Enhance is supposed to be a Rose Taupe with a shimmer finish. So I'm going to take that quite high up. I'm only working with the 3 shades for my eyes. So this is the one that I'm going to bring up really high. So next I'm going to take the Rephr number 14 brush and go into this smoke shade here. This is described as a cool caramel matte.
Have you ever been in love? Dove in from high above, and if the answer's no, well then I'd like to get to know you. And though I know these lights are blinding, I will guide us home.
Then I'm going to take my other Rephr number 15 brush, I have 2 of them, go back into the smoke shadow and put more on the outer corner of my eye.
Guide us home. 'Cause I don't know what I've been told the weather outside is not that cold, and if you take my hand.
Now I'm going to take the Sonia G Builder Pro and I'm going to use this shade here. This is the Eye Brighten, and I'm going to put that from the inner corner through to the center. When I swatched this on my hand, it wasn't super pigmented like some other shimmers from other palettes, or definitely hasn't got like a foil finish or anything like that. If anything, it's probably more of a topper shade, but it is really subtle and it is a very pretty color.
If you take my hand, I'll walk with you to Georgia. And I don't know what those men see, but I see you right next to me. And if you take my hand.
So that shade that I just put on is described as a sheer rose with a sparkle finish. And that is exactly what it is. But even though it is subtle, it is really, really pretty. And I think this gives a really gorgeous daytime look. I am going to do the inner corner of my eye. And I'm going to take the Rephr number 3 brush, but I'm going to go into the face highlight shade. I think that'll brighten up the inner corner really, really well, more than this one would here. And I'm going to use the Eye Smoke shade for eyeliner on my eyes. I have got a Charlotte Tilbury eyeliner pencil, but I don't want to use that today because I want to show you what you can actually do with this palette, and you can still define your eyes with the shadows that are there. So I'm going to take the BK Beauty 204 brush today and go back into the Eye Smoke shade. And to define the upper lash line, I'm going to take my Hourglass number 10 brush and go back into that same shade. So now I'm going to put on some mascara, and I'm going to use the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Push Up Lashes. I've spoken about this mascara before. I really love this. It lifts really well and separates the lashes beautifully and never clumps, and it also doesn't transfer during the day. But first I'm just going to curl my lashes. So for those of you that haven't seen me talk about this mascara before, I go in with the flat side first and push up the lashes. Then I use the other edge and do a second layer, and that seems to work really, really well. So now I'm going to put on the blush. They call it the Cheek Pop Color. And I'm going to take the Sonia G Classic Cheek Brush and just pop some on.
Take my hand, I'll walk with you to Georgia.
So this blush is described as a pink peach and has a luminous finish on it. It is a little bit luminous, but not too much, which is good because I tend to like more matte blushes, but only because they can sometimes emphasize texture that you have, but I can't really see it doing that. It actually gives a really beautiful finish. So now I'm going to use the highlighter, and I'm going to take the Rephr number 20 brush and just dab it in there, and we'll see how it looks. And this highlighter is described as a champagne beige. So that's the highlighter on, and it is super pretty, and you can definitely see the luminous glow there. It's really nice, and I don't think it seems to be emphasizing the texture that I have on my skin. The overall look is just really, really pretty. So I didn't get one of the new lipsticks, but I do have 3 Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks, and they are in the shade. One is called Bitch Perfect, and the other one is Penelope, and the other one is called Coral Pink. So today I'm going to use the shade Bitch Perfect. I wear this quite a lot. I love this color. It's just a really beautiful nude. And I'm just going to give another light dusting of powder on my face to finish it all. And I'll go back into this face powder in the palette, and I'm going to use the BK Beauty 102 brush. I've talked about this one before. I love it because it's just really beautiful and soft, and it doesn't pick up too much powder, so it just gives a really lovely light dusting over the face. And that is the finished look. I think it looks really, really pretty. I think it's a great palette. It's not over the top. It's really useful for every day. If you wanted to add a bit more drama, you could probably use an eyeliner to make the eyes pop even more. But as it is, I think it is absolutely gorgeous. And with most of the Charlotte Tilbury products, they are more softer, tend to go towards more neutral colors for this soft glamour look, and I think that they are stunning. So I also am going to show you the Glowing Beauty palette, but as I said earlier on, I'm going to put that on tomorrow, and I'll film myself while I do that, and I'll edit it right down, but you'll get to see the finished look. And then tomorrow I'll also sum up my thoughts on both of these palettes as well. So that is the Glowing Beauty palette on. This is really beautiful, as well as the first palette I tried. This has colours that are a bit more deeper, give a bit more punch, and a bit more sparkle on the eyes. Both are just really beautiful palettes. The formulas in the palettes are beautiful. They blend really easy. The highlighter, the one in both palettes that I tried, don't seem to emphasize any texture that I have. This powder I've used before anyway for under my eyes and on my face, and it is beautiful. It doesn't tend to settle into lines and just gives a really soft finish. But the thing that I love about these palettes the most is that most YouTube creators have a lot of makeup. There's no doubt about it. I've got so much makeup that the average person wouldn't really have. But if someone's looking for a palette where they can get most of their look done and in a convenient size that has really beautiful, soft, feminine colours, then these palettes are ideal. You can go more neutral and even softer for the day look and use the other palette, or you could combine them both and mix them up. One thing also with the bronzer is you could use that to even deepen under the eye and the upper eyelid as well. I didn't do that with these palettes, but it's definitely something you could do if you wanted a deeper look. And like I said before, I haven't used an eyeliner. I do have the Charlotte Tilbury eyeliner, but I haven't used that today because I just wanted to see what kind of look you could get without using that, and just use only the palette if I could get away with that. And that's what I've done, and I think it looks really good. I will be using these palettes again. The reason is that I haven't done it for a while, for over a year now. But I'll be having 2 dogs soon, but there's one dog that I show, and I'm going to start doing that again in the near future, especially when my second dog arrives. And I go away for the weekend, often leaving on a Friday night and not coming back to a Sunday. And I always take my makeup with me, and every day I always wear makeup, and it's no different for at dog shows. And I'm going to be packing these palettes instead of all the separate products that I have, because by the time I pack away the skincare I need and the different powder and blush and bronzers and a highlighter and the eyeshadows, it's a lot to be carrying around with you and packing and taking away. These are going to be ideal. This is all I need. I just need to take a mascara and lipstick and my foundation, concealer if I want to take that, but really this is all, and those other couple of things I'll be taking, and this is going to be absolutely brilliant for that. So overall, I really love both palettes. Each one gives a different look, and I am really pleased that I purchased them. As I said, I'll definitely be using these in the future. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.